Regulation of e-cigarettes in the consumer market. We want to look at the e-cigarette market on its own, the impact it has on the traditional tobacco cigarette market, and how e-cigarettes will be regulated in the future for quality standards. First, for some background on the topic. Electronic cigarettes, also known as e-cigs or vapes, were invented by a pharmacist and smoker in Beijing, China in 2003. He invented them looking for a less harmful alternative to smoking. E-cigarettes, however, lack smoke-producing tobacco and tars found in traditional cigarettes and use a liquid nicotine to mock the smoking sensation instead. E-cigarettes were introduced into the U.S. market in 2003 and currently comprise about 1% of total market share. However, they have created issues with their teen and youth-friendly marketing strategies. The colorful packaging and fruity flavors has quickly drawn teens in. E-cigarettes are negative externalities, meaning they produce external costs which result in market inefficiency. The marginal social benefit of the cigarette market does not equate to the marginal social cost. E-cigarettes have private costs which affect the user, such as addiction. However, they also have external costs which affect the population as a whole, such as secondhand smoke or air pollutants. Both of those costs must be taken into consideration when adjusting for the entire social cost. Because purchasers of e-cigarettes do not consider the external costs of the general population when making these purchases, the market quantity of cigarettes is much higher than desirable. When dealing with the economic effects of e-cigarettes, what we expect to occur is a shift in the quantity demanded of traditional cigarettes as a result of e-cigarettes acting in direct competition. As for the traditional cigarette market, there will likely be a shift in the quantity demanded of normal cigarettes from Q1 to Q2, which also results in a price shift from P1 to P2. On the e-cigarette side of the market, we expect to see a shift in the demand curve to the right from D1 to D2, which also results in an increase in the quantity supplied as well as the price of e-cigarettes. This is because e-cigarettes are a substitute good for traditional cigarettes. The growth in sales of e-cigarettes is attributable to other factors like marketing and regulation as well. While traditional cigarettes face a plethora of restrictions in advertisement strategies and other disclaimers, e-cigarettes are able to advertise themselves as almost a cure to nicotine addiction and as a much healthier alternative. This is amplified by the fact that e-cigarettes have only recently received attention regarding more regulation on the ingredients. These effects are reflected in the graphs beside, where we can see the different growth rates of each product. So now on to potential options in handling the newfound presence of e-cigarettes in the market. In April 2014, the FDA ruled that e-cigarettes should be regulated the same as traditional tobacco products. The issue with this, though, is that the long-term health effects of using e-cigarettes are still unknown. Therefore, it brings up many questions about the actual quality and regulation standards in practice right now. Many believe that e-cigarettes should still be in different regulation than the traditional tobacco products. Individuals that do use e-cigarettes, though, should still have access to the information about potential risks and the effects that come from using the products, as well as facts about their specific amounts of nicotine and chemicals. Another option is to impose more taxes. The government and other regulators are on one side of the debate trying to treat e-cigarettes exactly like traditional cigarettes and impose a large excise tax. Their argument is that higher taxes mean higher prices, which ultimately should deter people from buying e-cigarettes altogether. Additionally, state governments could definitely benefit from the increased tax revenue. On the other side of the debate are the producers and consumers of e-cigarettes. Their argument is that there is no actual tobacco in e-cigarettes, so they should not be taxed and treated as if there were. They also argue that raising the prices of e-cigarettes through taxes could work as a disincentive and actually make some users switch back to traditional cigarettes. Our recommendations on how to successfully integrate consumer policy regulation into the e-cigarette market is a combination of both higher taxes and more attention on quality control and regulation. Even though the specific health effects of long-term e-cigarette consumption are yet to be determined, we still know that they are bad for users in their addictive nature and therefore should be discouraged from using them by imposing an excise tax. They need to be taxed in order to increase the price and drive down market quantity. This should ultimately put the marginal social cost back into equilibrium with the marginal social benefit. The other part of our recommendation has to do with the quality standard regulation of e-cigarettes. If people are willingly putting these chemicals into their bodies, they deserve to be fully aware of any proven or potential side effects. There needs to be transparent and relevant warning labels on all packaging and accessories. The more data and evidence that becomes available about e-cigarettes in the future, the more regulation and standardization will be necessary in its overall market structure.